Welcome, wisdom seekers. Most people never realize they are being shaped until they are already predictable. This video is not about sounding smart or proving anything to anyone. It is about understanding how intelligence really works when power, people, and reality collide. Not the kind of intelligence that gets applause, the kind that keeps you safe, ahead, and quietly in control. There are levels to how people think. Some only collect information, some follow rules, some read patterns, and a rare few understand human nature so deeply that they move through life without needing to explain themselves. This is the kind of thinking Machiavelli warned about and respected at the same time. Here is the truth most people avoid. The moment you talk too much about what you know, you lose leverage. The world rewards mystery more than explanation. When people cannot read you, they cannot use you. That is why the sharpest minds stay quiet and let others underestimate them. If this topic resonates with you, do not rush to share it. Not everything valuable needs an audience. Some knowledge is meant to sharpen you, not advertise you. Growth happens faster in silence. This video is designed to make you uncomfortable in a good way. It will force you to question how you think, how you react, and where you actually stand. No motivation talk, no empty confidence, just clear insight. Watch this video to the end, not for entertainment, but for clarity. Somewhere in these levels, you will recognize yourself, and once you see it, you cannot unsee it. Now, let's explore together. Number 1. Information collectors. Information collectors are everywhere, and at first glance they look impressive. They speak with confidence, drop references casually, and always seem to know a little about everything. In conversations they sound sharp. In debates they sound prepared. But intelligence is not proven when life is calm. It is revealed when life changes the rules without warning. These people mistake accumulation for understanding. They gather facts the way others collect items, stacking them neatly in their mind, proud of how much they hold. But information alone does not move. It does not adapt. It does not breathe. When something unexpected happens, when the situation demands judgment instead of memory, they pause. Their mental library suddenly feels heavy instead of helpful. The real problem is not lack of effort. Information collectors often work hard. They read, they watch, they listen, but they rarely question deeply. They accept ideas because they sound smart, not because they have tested them against reality. Their thoughts are borrowed, not built. So when pressure arrives, there is nothing solid underneath. They rely on certainty, and certainty is fragile. Life rarely announces what comes next. People change, power shifts, situations twist. And when that happens, memorized knowledge offers comfort, but not direction. You can know every rule and still fail when the game changes. This level of intelligence feels safe, which is why many people stay here. Knowing facts gives the illusion of control. It feels productive. It feels respectable. But growth begins the moment someone realizes that knowing is not the same as understanding. If you recognize yourself here, this is not an insult. It is an invitation. Intelligence becomes alive when you start asking why instead of repeating what. When you observe people instead of labeling them. When you test ideas in real situations and accept being wrong as part of learning. Information is a tool, not a destination. It is the raw material, not the structure. The mind only becomes powerful when it learns how to think under uncertainty, not just speak under comfort. Stay with this video. The next levels will challenge how you see intelligence entirely. And if you are willing to move beyond collecting, you might discover something far more valuable than facts. Number 2. Pattern noticers. Pattern noticers live in a different mental rhythm from most people. While others focus on what is being said, they pay attention to what keeps happening. They notice how the same type of person ends up in the same situation. They see how certain decisions always lead to similar consequences. Over time, the noise fades and structure appears. This is where thinking stops being loud and starts becoming sharp. Pattern noticers do not rush to explain everything. They watch first. They compare moments. They connect small details that seem unrelated on the surface. A pause in a conversation, a repeated excuse, a familiar reaction when pressure shows up. These details slowly form a map. They often sense outcomes before they arrive, not because they are guessing, but because repetition leaves footprints. When a story has been told enough times, the ending becomes easier to spot. They may not have the language yet to explain their feeling, but their intuition is backed by observation, not emotion. What separates them from information collectors is restraint. They do not need to announce what they see. They let events confirm their understanding. While others argue about opinions, pattern noticers quietly adjust their position. They change how much they trust. They shift where they stand. They prepare without panic. This way of thinking can feel lonely at first. When you notice patterns, it becomes harder to be surprised. It also becomes harder to pretend. You start seeing when people repeat the same mistakes with different faces. You recognize power moves disguised as kindness. You sense when a situation is slowly turning against you, even when everything sounds fine. Pattern noticers are not perfect. They can still doubt themselves. But over time, their accuracy builds confidence. Each confirmed pattern strengthens their judgment. Each avoided mistake sharpens their awareness. If this feels familiar, protect it. Do not rush to label it or explain it away. Pattern recognition grows stronger in silence and patience. It is the foundation of deeper intelligence. Keep watching. What comes next is not about seeing patterns in the world, but recognizing them within yourself. Number 3. Emotional strategists. Emotional strategists move through the world with a quiet awareness that most people never develop. They feel emotions fully, but they do not let those emotions grab the steering wheel. Instead of fighting feelings or denying them, they observe them. This single skill changes everything. They can walk into a room and sense the mood before a word is spoken, a shift in tone, a tension in silence, a smile that arrives a second too late. These details speak louder than conversations. Emotional strategists listen to what people reveal without meaning to. That is where truth usually hides. When conflict appears, they slow down. Not because they are weak or unsure, but because they understand that speed often serves emotion, not intelligence. While others raise their voice, they lower theirs. While others rush to defend themselves, they wait and let the situation unfold. Time gives them clarity. Clarity gives them advantage. They know timing is everything. Saying the right thing at the wrong moment can ruin its power. So they choose when to speak and when to remain silent. They let people exhaust themselves emotionally while they stay centered. This patience is not passive, it is intentional. Emotional strategists also understand themselves deeply. They recognize when pride wants to speak. They notice when fear tries to rush a decision. Instead of obeying these impulses, they pause and ask what outcome they truly want. This inner awareness keeps them from being dragged into unnecessary battles. People often mistake them for being calm by nature. The truth is more disciplined. Calm is practiced. It is built through restraint, reflection, and experience. They have learned that reacting feels good for a moment, but control pays off long term. This level of intelligence changes how relationships work. It reduces drama. It exposes manipulation. It allows clear boundaries without loud explanations. Emotional strategists do not need to dominate conversations to influence outcomes. Their presence alone shifts the dynamic. If you recognize yourself here, honor it. Do not rush to prove it. Let your consistency speak. Emotional intelligence grows stronger when protected, not displayed. Stay with this video. What comes next goes beyond understanding emotions in others and moves toward mastering the deeper forces that shape behavior itself. Number 4. Psychological architects. Psychological architects think in outcomes, not reactions. While most people move from moment to moment, they quietly shape the path ahead. They understand that control does not come from force or confrontation. It comes from structure, timing, and letting people act exactly as they already are. They speak less on purpose. Every word has weight, so they do not waste it. Silence becomes a tool, not an absence. When they pause, others fill the gap with explanations, emotions, and mistakes. This is how truth surfaces without pressure. People reveal themselves when they feel unchallenged. Instead of arguing, psychological architects adjust the environment. They change who is present. They alter timing. They shift incentives. By the time a decision is made, the outcome feels natural to everyone else, even though it was guided from the beginning. Influence becomes invisible. They understand human nature deeply. Most people believe they act freely, but they respond to comfort, fear, recognition, and opportunity. Psychological architects do not judge this. They observe it. They design situations where desired behavior becomes the easiest option. No force is needed. This level of intelligence requires patience. Immediate confrontation gives emotional release, but it destroys leverage. Psychological architects delay satisfaction for long-term advantage. They let small behaviors repeat until patterns become undeniable. Then they act quietly and decisively. They also know when not to interfere. Sometimes the best design is absence. Stepping back allows dynamics to expose themselves. People assume freedom and show their true priorities. What they choose when no one is watching is the most honest data. This way of thinking can feel unsettling to others. It does not rely on dominance or persuasion. It relies on understanding. That is why it is so effective. Resistance fades when people believe the choice was theirs all along. If this resonates, handle it with care. This is not a skill to broadcast. The more visible it becomes, the weaker it gets. Influence works best when it blends into the background. Keep watching. The next level goes even deeper, separating intelligence from morality and showing how power truly moves beneath the surface. Number 5. Reality acceptors. Reality acceptors live with their eyes open, even when what they see is uncomfortable. They do not look away from facts just because those facts hurt. They do not soften the truth to protect their feelings. They understand that comfort is temporary, but accuracy lasts. Most people unconsciously negotiate with reality. They ignore warning signs. They rewrite events to feel better. They choose explanations that protect their ego. Reality acceptors refuse to do this. When something goes wrong, they ask what actually happened, not what sounds nicest. This honesty with themselves becomes their greatest strength. They are not pessimistic. They are precise. They do not expect the world to be fair, people to be consistent, or intentions to guarantee outcomes. Because of this, they are rarely shocked. Disappointment does not crush them the way it crushes others. They already considered the possibility. This mindset makes them difficult to manipulate. Emotional manipulation depends on illusion. It depends on hope without evidence, promises without patterns, words without action. Reality acceptors listen, but they verify. They watch behavior. They notice contradictions. When something feels off, they investigate instead of dismissing the feeling. They can sit with discomfort longer than most people. awkward truths, hard realizations, painful clarity. While others rush to escape these moments, reality acceptors stay present. They know that avoidance delays growth, but facing reality accelerates it. This level of intelligence also changes how they relate to people. They stop trying to rescue, convince, or fix those who refuse to see the truth. They accept limits. They accept endings. They accept that effort does not always equal results. This acceptance frees enormous mental energy. Reality acceptors are calm not because life is easy, but because denial no longer drains them. They spend less time fighting what is and more time adapting to it. That adaptability makes them resilient. If this feels familiar, protect it. Do not let others shame you for being honest or label you as cold. Clear sight is not cruelty. It is respect for reality as it is. Keep watching. What comes next reveals how those who accept reality learn to detach from outcomes and gain an even deeper form of control. Number 6. Moral separators. Moral separators see the world without mixing emotions into every decision. They understand something many people struggle to accept. Being good and being effective are not the same skill. You can have strong values and still make poor choices. You can also make smart moves without feeling righteous about them. They do not reject morality. They simply refuse to let it blind them. They know that intentions do not change outcomes. Results do. So when they act, they ask a different question. What will actually work here? Not what sounds kind, not what looks noble, what produces the desired result. This gives them clarity in difficult situations. They know when kindness builds trust and when it invites exploitation. They understand that endless patience with the wrong people teaches them nothing. Boundaries are not cruelty, they are information. Moral separators are comfortable holding two truths at once. They can care deeply and still walk away. They can help without rescuing. They can show compassion without sacrificing their own stability. This balance is rare because it requires emotional discipline. Many people confuse ethics with emotional comfort. They believe doing the right thing should always feel good. Moral separators know better. Sometimes the correct choice feels cold. Sometimes fairness feels harsh. Sometimes walking away is the most honest response available. This mindset makes them steady under pressure. Guilt does not easily control them. Shame does not easily bend them. They listen to feedback, but they do not surrender judgment to emotional noise. Their decisions come from clarity, not fear of being misunderstood. They also recognize moral language as a tool others use to manipulate. Words like loyalty, kindness, and respect can be weaponized. Moral separators hear these words, but they look for behavior that matches them. When it does not, they adjust without drama. This level of intelligence brings peace. You stop arguing with yourself. You stop trying to please conflicting standards. You act in alignment with reality, not performance. If this resonates, hold on to it quietly. Not everyone is ready to understand this distinction. Some people need comforting stories. Others need clear outcomes. Keep watching. What comes next explores how those who separate morality from intelligence learn to observe themselves and gain an even sharper edge. Number 7. Self-observers. Self-observers live with an unusual kind of awareness. They do not just experience thoughts and emotions, they watch them. It feels almost like stepping outside their own head and observing what is happening in real time. This distance changes everything. When ego starts to rise, they notice it. When fear begins to whisper urgency, they hear it. When pride tries to push them into saying something unnecessary, they pause. Most people are driven by these forces without realizing it. Self-observers see the strings before they move. This does not mean they are emotionless. They feel anger, excitement, insecurity, and hope like anyone else. The difference is that they do not immediately obey these feelings. They ask where the emotion came from and where it is trying to take them. That single question saves them from countless mistakes. They catch themselves in the moment, right before reacting, right before over-explaining, right before proving a point that does not need to be proven. That pause is power. It turns impulse into choice. This level of intelligence builds quietly. No one applauds someone for not reacting. No one sees the arguments avoided or the damage prevented. But over time, the results speak. Fewer regrets, clearer decisions, stronger self-respect. Self-observers also learn faster than most people. When something goes wrong, they do not blame endlessly. They review their own thinking. What assumption was wrong? What emotion interfered? What signal was ignored? This honest self-review sharpens judgment with each experience. They become difficult to manipulate because manipulation depends on unconscious triggers: guilt, flattery, fear. Once these triggers are seen, they lose much of their power. Awareness dissolves control. This mindset creates inner stability. External chaos does not easily shake them because they are not fighting themselves. Their energy is not wasted on internal conflict. If this feels familiar, protect it. This awareness is fragile in noisy environments. It grows best in reflection and restraint. Stay with this video. The next level reveals how those who observe themselves learn to use silence, timing, and restraint as tools rather than habits. I added one point that is very important. Number 8. Power readers. Power readers walk into a room and notice what most people miss. While others focus on titles, seating, or who speaks the loudest, they watch reactions. Who people look at before answering, who interrupts without apology, who stays silent and is still obeyed. This is where real power shows itself. They understand that authority on paper often means very little. A title can be given. Influence must be earned or taken. Power readers track behavior, not labels. They notice whose opinions shift the mood, whose approval changes decisions, who can break rules without consequences. These signals never lie. They pay close attention to body language and timing. A small nod, a delayed response, a glance across the room before agreement. These details reveal invisible hierarchies that most people never question. Power moves quietly, and power readers listen to quiet things. They also know that true influence rarely announces itself. When someone constantly reminds others of their position, it is usually a sign of insecurity. Real power does not need repetition. It is felt. People adjust around it without being told. This awareness keeps power readers from making costly mistakes. They know who to align with and who to be cautious around. They understand when to speak and when silence is safer. They do not challenge the wrong person at the wrong time. Timing protects them. Power readers are also aware of how power shifts. Influence is never static. It moves with information, relationships, and trust. They stay alert to these changes. The moment someone loses quiet authority, they notice. The moment someone gains it, they adapt. This level of intelligence brings calm. When you understand where power truly sits, confusion disappears. You stop reacting to noise and start responding to structure. You see past performance and into reality. If this resonates, keep it discreet. Announcing that you understand power often makes others defensive. Observation works best when unnoticed. In final words, the most dangerous person is the one who understands what is happening and chooses silence. If you have followed this journey through the levels of intelligence, you may feel something shifting inside you. Not excitement, not pride, clarity. And clarity is never loud. It does not beg to be shared. It asks to be protected. Each level you have seen is not a badge or a title. It is a mirror. Somewhere along the way, You likely recognized patterns you never had words for before. That recognition is valuable, and like anything valuable, it weakens when exposed too early or to the wrong people. Not everyone benefits from knowing how you think. Some people grow uneasy around quiet awareness. Others try to test it. A few try to use it. Silence keeps your edge sharp. It allows your understanding to mature without interference. There is also wisdom in restraint. Growth does not need applause. Insight does not need agreement. The most powerful shifts happen privately, where reflection replaces reaction and patience replaces urgency. If any part of this video made you uncomfortable, that is a good sign. Comfort rarely changes anyone. Discomfort invites honesty, and honesty is the beginning of real intelligence. Do not rush to rank yourself. Do not rush to label others. Intelligence is not a finish line, it is a discipline. It deepens with awareness, humility, and time. Stay until the very end of this video. Not for hype or motivation, but for integration. Let the ideas settle. Let them challenge you quietly. The goal is not to look intelligent. The goal is to think clearly when it matters most. And when the moment comes, you will know exactly where you stand. Thank you for watching, and God bless you.